All right, thanks for being here. Another week, opportunity to go on the road against a really good Missouri team. Coach Drinkwitz has these guys playing at a high level in all three phases. Really impressed with the quarterback. He's playing extremely well for them right now. Deep ball accuracy. He's made some big time throws, particularly the last couple games. Seems to seems to be getting better each and every week. At the running back position, two really physical, talented running backs. The offensive line's a veteran group. This is a very veteran team that we're playing. And then some dynamic receivers on the outside. Luther Burton's as talented as any receiver in this country. And then Theo Weiss, who I was with Spencer, both of us at Oklahoma, is really playing at a high level for them and giving them a weapon on the outside. As well, and then some athletic tight ends with size. So big challenge offensively, and then defensively, disruptive would be an understatement when you watch these guys. If our last two games against them the last 2 years, story of the game has just been how disruptive they've been, particularly on the defensive line. And it seems like those guys have been there forever, and they have depth. They just kind of keep coming in waves, and 6 on the edge is a load at defensive end. Will be a big challenge for our tackles on the offensive line. Linebackers for them are active. Secondary is a veteran group, two really, really talented corners, and then a nickel and two safeties with size. And then on special teams, they do a lot. You got to prepare for a lot. They do a really good job. Faked a punt for a touchdown last week against Kentucky. The same thing we did against Tennessee 2 years ago in plus territory in punt safe. And so obviously the quarterback can throw, the punter can throw, and they've got a kicker with a really strong leg and use good players on special teams. So will be another challenge. It's life in this league, going on the road, but really, really impressed with this team and the level that they're playing at in all three phases, just playing good complementary football all across the board. Health-wise for us, we're okay. Mario is okay as can be. Mario practiced today. He'll be fine for Saturday. I'd say Stone Blanton is questionable for Saturday. I'd say Rashawn Lee is doubtful for Saturday. And then Kason Henry continues to make progress. Probably won't be able to go this week, but he did get out there in practice today and do a little bit as well. So getting closer and trying to get as healthy as we can. Disappointing if Rashawn's not able to go. It seems like it's just one step forward, 2 steps back from an offensive line standpoint. But he if he is out this week, hopefully he won't be out too long, and he's doing everything in his power to get back this week. So questions?
Shane, obviously a lot of focus on the defense this week from the outside perspective. Are there any, scheme changes afoot, personnel changes, just what needs to happen to prevent something else happening like Saturday?
No, obviously it wasn't good enough, David. Some of the stuff that we've talked about when we call pressures, we got to be aggressive and have a mentality to get there, and you got to win, and we got to be smart about when we're calling them. I told the team this morning, I think we played 86 plays on Saturday, so that's way too many plays. We got to get off the field. And in those 86 plays, I think over 40 of them, we played man coverage. Man coverage with a safety in the middle or zero blitz coverage, meaning there is no help. And when that happens, one, we got to win up front, and then we got to play with great technique. And we called that much man coverage because we have great confidence in our defensive backs to perform. And, when you're on an island, we don't line up here at South Carolina and just play, 2 deep coverage every time and protect our corners over the top with safeties. We're aggressive, and that's why – that's why Cam Smith and Darius Rush and those guys are on NFL teams right now, and why Carlin Patel got an opportunity with the Steelers, and on and on and on, because of the style we play and the way we coach our guys up. And certainly every week is different. You want to continue to put your guys in position to make plays, but no, it hasn't been good enough, no, but there's also been a lot of really, really good that we've done this year defensively as well. We just have to be better, and it's technique, it's scheme, it's the calls we're making, all that stuff. So we're looking at everything, but it wasn't good enough Saturday, but we're not far off either.
You talked a lot on Saturday about how life is about responding to adversity. A lot of the defensive guys today saying they feel like they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder in practice the last couple of days. Just how have you seen them so far these last couple of days responding to the adversity?
Yeah, I don't worry about our guys. We got great people in this program, and I've said it before. Our culture is strong, and these players care. And nobody was more hurt and upset about Saturday than the people in this building were. And because they put a lot into it. And when you put a lot into something, you care and you really, really hurt. And those guys certainly hurt on Saturday and were disappointed with the performance. But one thing about this group is they respond every single week. And today was a fantastic practice, and Sunday night was a good practice, just like I told you guys it would be, I think, in the post-game press conference. And it was. And, they put a lot into this, and they want to have success. And we got high character people in this program, and they respond the right way.
Shane, we had a chance to listen to Nick today for the first time in God knows how long, but I bring that up just because with his process of just trying to be able to obviously make the adjustment from playing defense in high school and tight end and move over to wide receiver, he admitted that there were some whoa moments that he had in that North Carolina game.
Sure.
How have you seen him grow just over the last couple of weeks, which has led to him earning more snaps on offense?
Yeah, he's right. For people to just sit there and say, okay, well, this guy was a 5-star recruit, so just throw him out there and let him go. I wish it was that simple, guys. People that, think that don't always have a great understanding of what playing football is like. There's a lot. And our offense is every offense in the country is a little bit more complex than just, hey, line up on the right side and run a 12-yard curl. And that's all you have to do. There's adjustments and there's blocking assignments. And we do a lot offensively, and there's motions. And once you get in the right place, you got to be able to make plays and make catches and things like that. And first of all, I'm glad that Nick said that, and he's right. It is a process, and he's made the progress that he's had because he works his butt off. First of all, he watches Xavier Legette every day and learns from him, and just the time that Nick puts in to everything, it's evident. Xavier works really, really hard. All of our guys do, but Nick's up here all the time, just trying to get extra work and extra meeting time. And coaches up here at night, and he'll pop in here at 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, just to watch tape with the coaches and stuff like that. So he's put the time in from a mental standpoint, and also too, we got to be smart. When we have good players, we got to make sure that we're not asking them to do too much schematically where they can't get on the field. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but we can't be so simple that we just run the same 2 plays every time. Either. So Nick's worked really hard to get a better understanding of things mentally. And then with the way that he's worked, when you know what to do, you're able to play faster and play with more confidence. And that's what I've seen with him, is playing with more confidence, catching the ball more consistently, and was so happy for him to make that catch Saturday, and not just make the catch, but play, I think, 28 plays, 29 plays, whatever it was. And talked to him yesterday downstairs in the hallway, and he was so excited about, getting to play and getting to play more this week too.
Shane, not the biggest stadium out there, but kind of a longer trip. What are the unique challenges of playing at Missouri?
Well, it's different. We try, and every place you go in the SEC is different. And, because of where we're located on the East Coast, this and Texas A&M for now until Texas and Oklahoma come in the league are the 2 farthest trips that we take. But, having said that, it's not like we're going to, Siberia. I mean, it's a couple states over, so it's not like we're flying across the country like teams in formerly the Pac-12 are going to have to do that now are on the West Coast. They are going to have to fly across the country multiple times a year. This is an easy flight. To me, the biggest challenge is just you're playing a really, really good team on the road. 2 years ago, we went out there and we had to fly into St. Louis, bus to Columbia. I think when we got to the hotel, there were some snow flurries in the air, and then we lose the game, and then you have to bus back to St. Louis. That was pretty miserable 2 years ago. This year we don't have to, thank God. We're able to fly right into Columbia. So not that it'll be a smooth trip, but it'll certainly be smoother from a travel standpoint. But to me, the biggest challenge is we try and not make a big deal about where we're going, when we're playing, kickoff time, location, stadium size, any of that. To me, it's a good team that we're playing, and that's the biggest challenge, is playing a good team in their stadium, and we need to do everything in our power to go play well.
Obviously, Vershawn would probably be the next center. For some reason, Nick had to exit, and So, assuming Rashawn can't go, what's sort of the succession plan at center if you have to go beyond?
Grayson Maines and John Darius Morgan. Grayson Maines has worked at center since the beginning of the season, going back to spring practice. So Grayson would be the next center. John Darius Morgan has worked at center as well, every day. And you guys were out there some in August when, the quarterbacks are over there. They're taking center quarterback exchanges every day in practice, and we have a center with each quarterback basically. So do they have game experience? No. Would that be ideal if Vershawn couldn't go and something happened to Nick? No. But you prepare for those situations, and if that happened, Grayson's a good player and knows all the calls and is a really smart young man, along with John Darius, who's been in our program since I got here.
Then switching to cornerback in terms of depth, and I know you talked before the season started how that was a concern. And
yeah,
seen mostly O'Donnell and Marcellus play. How challenging has it been for those guys? Not to make excuses for them, but they play a lot of snaps any given night. No,
it's a challenge, not just them. I mean, Sale and OD played 86 plays the other day. Jalen Kilgore played 70. DQ Smith played 86, and Nick Emanwari played 80. It's a lot of plays. And when you play man coverage half the time, or you play any coverage, 2 deep, 3 deep, quarters, whatever, when you're out there for that many plays and we're as aggressive as we are defensively, you're going to give up some plays from time to time. And we gave up way too many explosives, don't get me wrong. But a couple things. One, like I said, we got to get off the field. But we talked about it as a staff yesterday, Hale, is we got to continue to develop depth and get those guys out there. Right now, Judge Collier is our third corner, and Judge has come in there and done some good things. But whether it's Judge Collier, whether it's Emery Floyd, whether it's Vakari Swain, that's kind of our top 5 guys at corner right now. And kind of going back to what Mike asked about Nick, it's the same thing. Like, we got to make sure that we're not asking these guys to do too much defensively where they can't get in there and play, because we got to be able to get them in there and play them a little bit. Last year Cam and Darius were our top 2 corners, but Sale and OD, we felt good getting them in there and playing for Cam and Darius when we needed to. So we got to continue to be able to do that, and that's on those other corners and the other safeties and the other nickels to show us in practice if they can be counted on, because that is a position where no matter what you're playing, whether it's man coverage, 3 deep, 2 deep, you make a mistake on the back end, that's an 80-yard touchdown pass. And so you want to make sure that our guys know exactly what to do, and that's on us as coaches. And we've got to certainly get other guys in there, because that is a challenge when you're a defensive back playing that many plays against really good offenses, which we saw last week and we're going to see this week.
Shane, kind of a bigger picture question on road trips. I guess this year you get to carry a few more guys on road trips than you have in the past.
Yep.
How important is that in keeping maybe some younger guys more engaged, given the challenges that you're going to have every offseason about making sure that they're all ready to go and not want to pop in the pool?
Yeah, great question. And when we discussed this in Destin at SEC head coaches meetings, that was one of the points that was made, which by head coaches that were in favor of the rule change to allow us to take, last year it was 70, we can now take 74. That was one of the things that was discussed. It's important, but I'm also a guy that less is more, and I want to make sure that the people that we take to Missouri or A&M next week or whoever it might be, they're on the trip for a reason, and they've earned the opportunity to go on the trip, not just because I want to take a guy on a trip because I'm worried he's going to get upset and sad and want to transfer. If that's his mentality, then probably isn't the place, for him. So for us, each game, we sit in there, and it's something that I start looking at on Monday, kind of who the 74 are going to be. And to be totally honest, it's important because you do want to reward guys that have worked, really, really hard. I do want to make sure that the people that get on that plane on Saturday or Friday have earned the right to go on the trip and legitimately have a chance to get in the game. I don't want to take people just that they know they're not going to play. But honestly, for us, I would say the last for the Georgia game and for the Tennessee game, really spots, 72, 73, 74 have gone to guys that maybe were on the scout team that week and worked really, really hard. And I know that it would like make their week to get to go with us on an away game. So that's typically who we've taken. Now as we continue, I mentioned last week about Jaron Willis and C.J. Adams and some of these guys that were showing us more things on special teams, Jamie and Risher. Now that more of those guys are coming along, it makes it a little bit more of a challenge because you got guys that can help on special teams. Kelton Henderson's a guy that's really done some good things on our scout kickoff team. And on the scout team last week, he went down there and made 2 tackles on our kickoff team against kickoff return in practice last week. So we may get him going this week. So to answer your question, I'm sorry to ramble. It's a challenge. I want to make sure I take people on trips that are actually have an opportunity to play. I want to be able to reward people that earn the opportunity to go on the trip. But certainly if there's a guy that, maybe isn't playing, but is going to be a big-time player and you want to keep them engaged, it's kind of like teams in the past. Okay, you got a guy, Michael Vick, for example, when I was a freshman at Virginia, when I was a junior at Virginia Tech, like Michael Vick was going to redshirt his freshman year no matter what, but he went on all the away games because my dad and everybody in Virginia knew he was the future of the program. So he went on the trips as like the 3rd or 4th team, really the 4th team quarterback, but just to prepare him for next year. So you certainly want to be able to do that too. Sorry, that was like 8 minutes of who's going to Columbia, Missouri. Yeah, that's enough for like 4 stories probably right there.
Shane, a couple of things. Did I see you limp in here? Do we need an injury update on you?
Yeah, I might as well say it now because y'all are going to ask on Saturday after the game. I broke my foot on Saturday, so I'd rather just get it out there and say it and not have y'all speculating. And then after the game on Saturday in Missouri, you ask. I called Coach Tanner, told him, make sure he was okay with it, and he died laughing when I told him. So obviously there's not a lot of empathy from him. It was after the game, and certainly that was a gut-wrenching emotional loss, and I was frustrated and kicked something that I shouldn't have kicked, and thought I was okay, but journaling of the game wore off, and before anybody starts the narrative like the head football coach is frustrated and lost his poise and all that, no, I care. And I care about these kids, and I was really upset on Saturday night because I didn't do enough to help them get over the hump and win the football game. So don't think I have to have surgery, but there is a broken bone in my foot. It hurts like you know what, but, I've got to show toughness and fight through it. Been one of those years.
Okay, so questionable, doubtful?
Probable. Very, very probable as well. So the problem will be not being on any kind of pain medication. We'll be like faking punts from the 2-yard line on 4th and 30 because I'll be loopy if I'm on pain medicine. So we got to make sure that I fight through no pain medicine and I'm focused and can make calls. But no, I'm good. We got a great medical team here, and like I told the players, don't condone it. Not saying that it's okay to kick things after a game. Feel bad as a dad. My kids saw me and they're like, what the heck? So lesson learned. Stupid on my part.
Also, I know that you want to have the consistent message from week to week, but after not having the first half of the season that you wanted, do you tweak that a little bit just to put in the forefront of their minds that the opportunities are running out to reach the goals and where you want to be at the end of the year?
Yeah, we talked about it this morning in our team meeting, Rick, that this is the true second half of the season coming up. And it's kind of like, the time's now. Like we keep talking about what needs to happen, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. And not so much like talking about our record and what we have to get done here down the stretch, but just we got a good football team, and it's time for us to show it in all 3 phases. And I'm tired of, not doing enough on Saturdays to help our guys get over the hump and just making sure that our guys understand the urgency, which I feel like we did. I feel like we played with urgency last week, one like we weren't ready to play. It's not like the effort is a problem. Our guys are playing really, really hard. We've just got to continue to help them. And, the thing that we talked about one of the things we talked about this morning as a team was just got to do more. We were 1 play away on all 3 phases from just being enough to win that game on Saturday, and we didn't get it done. So we need, starting with me, to do more this week. I didn't do enough. I need to do more, and I need every person in this facility to have the same mentality. But like I said earlier, we got great young men in this program, and they went right back to work on Sunday, had a great practice today, and now we just got to continue to get better and put ourselves in position to play as well as we possibly can this Saturday out in Missouri.
Shane, when you're going up against a guy like Luther Burton and with some of the challenges you guys have had with top receivers this year, just what kind of changes, in a broad sense, I guess, do you make going up against a guy that's that sort of versatile?
Yeah, I mean, you can't completely change the defense because you're going up against him. I mean, you watch their explosive play tape of runs over 12 yards and passes over 18. So much of it is a short, intermediate throw to him, and then he just makes about 3 or 4 people miss, and it's a 40-yard gain, and they had him hemmed up. So we've got to do a great job going back to technique and fundamentals of rallying to the ball, tackling. You're not going to be able to line up and play, man coverage every single snap against him, but that's what we do here at South Carolina, and we're not going to come into it and say, okay, we've played, bless you, we're not going to come into it and say we've played man coverage every game this year, but now we're not. We're going to mix it up. We certainly got to mix coverages up, which is what we did last Saturday as well. But, we play talented receivers every week, and this guy is a really, really, really big challenge, not just at wide receiver, but when we punt, we got to punt to him too. And we got to go downfield and tackle, which will be a big challenge also because he's a fantastic player. And then he's got really good people around him as well. And then you add to it the fact that they have a running quarterback. They just present a lot of problems. A quarterback that can run with design runs, I should say. And they present a lot of problems, but certainly Luther Burton's right at the top.
Hey, Shane. You mentioned it on Sunday a lot about the pressures not getting home. When you watched the film, what did you see in terms of the execution of the blitz patterns and maybe why they didn't get home?
Yeah. Welcome to Columbia, by the way. Looking forward to working with you. I think for me or for us, it was mainly just the mentality, not that we were, passive because we weren't, but just understanding, okay, if we call a pressure, whether it's a zone pressure, whether it's a zero blitz pressure, meaning there's no help anywhere, whether it's a man pressure and we have cover one with a safety behind it, just the mentality that we call a pressure, we've got to go. And that's, to me, the biggest thing is not that they weren't going, but it's just got to be an extra, we need to feel them when Clayton calls a pressure. And we did at times. I mean, the sack that we had with Tyreek and Jordan Strawn was off. I think we brought 5 on that one, if I'm not mistaken. But, we felt them at times, and they did a good job. He did a good job. The quarterback did of getting the ball out of his hands and max protecting at times. But to me, that's the biggest thing. It wasn't like being unsure. It was just understanding there's got to be an extra gear that you hit when we do pressure.
If Stone can't go on Saturday, is there a name in mind for maybe a 4th linebacker? And also on road games, do you have a target number for linebackers you want to travel with, or is that more just fluid by position?
No, it's fluid by position based on special teams. I mean, our top 4 linebackers are who they've been all year. It's Pup, Bam, Stone, and Debo. I mean, they've been our top 4 since the North Carolina game, and that hasn't changed. If Stone wasn't able to go and we had a 4th guy, Jaron Willis is on the trip, Andrew Colacerdo is on the trip, and Ronnie Porter is on the trip, so it'll be a combination of those guys. You have kind of a target number. Okay, we've got to have this number of players at each position. That's kind of your minimum. But then on top of that, it's special teams. We typically take 4, 5, 7 to 8 linebackers each week, and a lot of that is because they're special teams guys for us also. So every week is different that we look at it. I usually, in the staff meeting on Monday, we usually talk about it that, okay, here's, to me, some guys that are on the fence this week, and it's really going to come down to what the special teams roles are for them this week, because every week when we pretty much have a consistent starting group with each the 4 main phases of special teams, but each week is different. Maybe when we played whoever it might be, Georgia, and they're primarily a 2-man shield on the punt team, and then we're playing Missouri this week, and they're primarily a 3-man shield on the punt team, or whatever it might be. That kind of changes your personnel a little bit on our punt pressure team. So each week is different, and we do have target numbers, but then anything in addition to the target numbers based off special teams.
Shane Mario Anderson was in here talking about the hat he wore and just kind of how he's able to show some of his personality. How important is it for you to let these guys show a little bit of their personality while also tightening it up when you need to?
What hat did he wear? I didn't even see it.
Oh, he's wearing like a Mario Nintendo hat.
Where?
Like Super Mario and Gamecock Walk.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to address that with him because I didn't know that we should be wearing our hats, but that's a different story. I didn't notice that. I want them to be able to certainly express themselves. Well, I say that. We let guys last year wear cowboy hats on Gamecock Walk, and I didn't say anything, so I can't discriminate against Super Mario or anybody else. It's just another thing as a head coach you got to deal with that you don't think about. Well, you had this rule, but nah, you got to make an exception for that one. I want our guys to be able to express themselves without a doubt. You know, they're young men, they're in college. It's not like where you can control everything. A lot of them are doing their different podcasts and media interviews in here. And we got some great young men in our program, and I want them to be able to express themselves, and I want them to be able to, for you guys and the people on the outside, to get to know the many awesome personalities and people that we do have in this program within, you know, the dynamic of the team as well. And that's what I've always told them is just, you know, every decision I make is what's best for the team. The team is the most important, the team, and making sure that we're not doing anything to detract from that.
Hey, Coach, on Saturday, players like Debo, Juju, and Spencer echoed the theme like, hey, we're not done. There's still more ball to be played. I'm curious who are some of the leaders this week that are really sort of galvanizing the troops for a big game this Saturday?
Yeah, I think a combination of everybody. You know, I think I've told our guys you don't have to be necessarily a senior to be a leader. I mean, we've had guys like DQ has been a captain for us, and he's a sophomore and whatnot. So we got a lot of guys. To me, you got different combinations of leaders, guys that are vocal, you know, whether that's Spencer, Debo, Boogie, whoever it might be, guys that, you know, lead by example but are leaders on this team, like Tonka, who doesn't really say much, and Nick Gargiulo, certainly. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So we're fortunate that we got some leaders, and that's what I've told our guys. I mean, you're exactly right. I've told our players that, you know, 6 weeks from now they're going to be talking about this 2023 football team and what we did from this point forward. And yes, I'm the head coach, so ultimately I'm responsible. But, you know, if we go do what we want to do and what we expect to do, it's going to be because of the leadership on this team. And kind of going back to what Rick said, it's time for those guys. We need those guys to lead and be the young men that they are.
Back to Mario, but not snitching on him like Joe did. He had mentioned a little bit that it seemed like you had talked about the history of this Mizzou game a little bit, the recent history. Not that y'all need any extra motivation for a game, but when there's a trophy on the line, is there a little bit extra? And for these guys in particular, who the school hasn't touched that trophy in a bit.
Yeah, he said that I had touched on the history of it. He must have mistaken me for somebody else. We talked about the trophy this morning, and we talked about, you know, the last 2 years, things that we didn't do that we weren't successful. So I guess he is correct from that standpoint, that history. No, but certainly, and I know Eli said the same thing. Anytime you're playing for a trophy, it's you know, it's got a little bit different meaning. All games in this league are big. They've done a great job against us and have certainly played better and coached better than we have the 2 years that I've been here. And they did a great job coming in here last year and beating us after the A&M game, I think. So we were ranked and did not play well, and they came in here and had a lot to do with that. You know, so for us, we know it's going to be a big challenge because it's a veteran team that we're facing on the road in their stadium. But yes, anytime anytime there's a trophy on the line, that gets the juices flowing. And certainly, I think the world of Daniel Rickeman and appreciate his support. And I know he wants nothing more than for us to be able to return that trophy to Columbia, South Carolina. Back to video. I ain't got no time for treatment. I iced before I came in.
You've mentioned wanting to get a little bit more rotational on the defensive line and pointed out that Missouri has that in waves. I think you had 3 backup tackles minus your other 3 play between 6 and 8 snaps.
Yeah.
Is that about right for you? Do you want to see those numbers grow?
No, I'd say it's a Good question. I'd like to see them grow a little bit certainly for some of those guys. You know, if we could get Drew Tuazama some more reps in there, I think that would be great because that means he's coming along and he's a big body in there that can certainly disrupt things. He came in here as a defensive end, so playing inside's a little bit of a new experience for him, and he's just got to learn what it's like on the inside, but he continues to get better. So we'd love to be able to get him some more reps, and then the rest of those guys, obviously TJ's playing a lot, Nick Barrett, Jamal Weiss, Xavier McLeod, those guys are all in there. So certainly if those reps did go up for those guys, that's a good thing because it means that they can help us and there's not much drop off between the other guys. And then kind of going back to the DB question, it's the same thing. You don't want, we talked about after the Tennessee game where you have Boogie and Tonka in there playing a ton of reps because TJ got hurt. That's not allowing Boogie and Tonka to be at their best in the fourth quarter as well, which is, you know, all these games we're going to play down the stretch here are going to be 4-quarter games, and they're going to come down to the fourth quarter just like Saturday did against Florida, and we need to make sure that our guys are at their best in the fourth quarter. So if we could, you know, Boogie and Tonka and TJ without a doubt are our top three, but if we could balance that out a little bit just to help those guys, because they're playing on, you know, we took them off kickoff return, meaning Boogie and Tonka, but they're still starters on our punt team, and you see them out there on field goal and things like that as well. So they're playing special teams just like all of our guys are, and want to be able to help them be at their best. All right, thank you guys. Have a good week. Huh?
Right.